Hi guys, welcome back to Book of Dano's channel. I hope everyone is doing well, and I read some really great, bye Oliver. I read some really great trades this past week that I want to share with you, and the first one is Doomsday Clock Part 1. And I was skeptical of it because I am a huge Watchmen fan, and I thought if they completely ruin this, I'll be really upset. But they didn't. It's really good. I really, really recommend it. So this is Watchmen, and then we have this really cool book that goes watching the Watchmen, and it has like preliminary sketches, and Alan Moore kind of gives interviews about like why he chose certain things. And so this is a really great book. I love that we have this book because it's amazing. So Doomsday Clock Part 1 is about, well, first, this is really fun. It says, the world of Watchmen collides with the DC universe in the most shocking story in DC history. That's super dramatic, but I doubt it's the most crazy story. But this book takes place 7 years after the events of Watchmen. Adrian Veidt has been exposed as a murderer of millions. Now a fugitive, he has to come up with a new plan to save his once adoring world, find Dr. Manhattan alongside a new Rorschach and the deadly mime. I said meme earlier, but it's mime. And a marionette. He arrives in the DC universe and finds it on the brink of collapse. So, super dramatic. But this is really great, and you can see this is the meme and marionette, and it has a new Rorschach in there, Dr. Manhattan, Superman, Batman, and these two are really great characters. So if you like Harley and Joker, it's basically Joker that doesn't talk, and not as psychotic Harley, but a little psychotic Harley. This was a really great read for me because I'm not familiar like how Dan is with all the DC characters, because I don't read a whole lot of superhero books. So this was really refreshing for me, and the art's really cool. It'll, like, you can tell like it has. So it's kind of like what's going on in the universe and stuff like that. So if you're an art lover, this is definitely, and then it has like Rorschach's like journals, and I mean, it's just fascinating. I'm really excited for volume 2, and at least at our comic book store, volume 2 is going to come with a slipcase so you can put them together. But I highly, highly recommend this. This was so good. It was written beautifully. It was by Jeff Johns, and Gary Frank was the artist. And I was really worried that it was gonna ruin Watchmen, because I'm a huge Watchmen fan, but it didn't. It really dived into a lot of the characters, and the characters were written really well. You would think Alan Moore wrote it. So this is my number one. This is my number one pick. Okay, so sticking with Alan Moore theme, we don't have the trade. We have the 12 issues of Providence. So I read this. This is crazy to find the trade, because I love trades, as you guys can probably gather by now. The cheapest one, because it was like a limited release of the trade. So part 1, which is only the first 5 issues, the cheapest one that I could possibly find was $124. That's crazy. So we have the 12 issue run, and that's all it is. And I know that Dan has this for sale, so if you are interested in reading this, just comment below and he'll contact you about this. So this story begins, it's about a writer, Robert Black's investigation through New England. and it takes place in a town called Salem. And I say that very direct at the camera because I have a girlfriend who was from and lived in Salem, so she would love this story. Hi, Jackie. Through New England as he tries to gather information on some mysterious books on a cult, as well as formulate new ideas for his own fictional novel. Alan Moore weaves the elements of H.P. Lovecraft stories to create a weird, surreal, and often frightening world in which Black travels back and forth between these worlds. This has everything. This has mystery, horror, cults, weird sex, mythology. It has everything. If you're a fan of H.P. Lovecraft, he winds a lot of the stories, if you're familiar with the stories, throughout this whole this whole story. It's really beautifully done. And if you're a fan of Alan Moore, it's his writing is just, isn't his writing great? His writing is just wonderful. So it reminded me, I totally agree. Somebody said that it reminded them of the movie Rosemary's Baby and The Ninth Gate. I don't know if they were like on a Roman Polanski, like, binge watching or something, but it does. It combines those two movies somehow really seamlessly and beautifully. If you're an H.P. Lovecraft lover, rejoice in this story. It's so good. I don't want to give a whole lot away. It's basically just about an author who's trying to find ideas, and he goes to this house, he goes to this New England town, and weird things start to happen, and he's just trying to figure it out. It's like I said, if you are interested in this, Dan has it bundled up. So there's 12 issues. This is the first issue to 12. If you are interested in this, just leave a comment below and he'll contact you, because it is definitely worth the read. And if you're an Alan Moore fan, you should probably have this in your home. So this is my number 2 pick, Providence. And the art's really cool too. So next up is Cover. And this one, this was kind of a surprise pick. When we were at our comic book shop, and I was like, I want this particular trade, and Dan was like, why? But the story just sounded so interesting. I had to know if it was good or not. So I thought it was really good. So it's about deep in American intelligence community, someone realizes that comic book creators who travel all over the world to sell their wares might make the perfect cover for operatives in the dangerous topsy-turvy world of intelligence and counterintelligence. And that's when all hell breaks loose. This is the story of the time the world comics and the world of international spy work smashed together with unexceptional results. So Cover brings together all the elements of a really great comic book. It's by Brian Michael Bendis, who did Jessica Jones and he did a lot of Superman, and the art's really beautiful. David Mack did the art, and it's really beautifully done. A lot of it is kind of it reminds me a little bit of Dustin Wynn, like the watercolor, and then a little bit of Jacques, if you read Witches or seen any of his stuff, kind of like the layering on top of the watercolor and stuff. So it's really beautiful, and it's captivating too. I love it. The plot is really entertaining. It will keep you entertained. And the strength is really how Brian Michael Bendis, how he does the dialogue with the characters. You just feel like you're having a glass of wine with them. You feel like you're totally involved. So I would definitely recommend picking this up. I did not check to see if this is on Hoopla. I would imagine it is. The only one that I did not find on Hoopla was Providence, but like I said, I can't find Providence anywhere in trade. So this was a good surprise, and I hope Dan picks it up, because if you're a comic book lover, this one is a good pick. So this is my third pick, cover. And if you like Bendis, I mean, it's like his classic voice, how he writes. All right. Next one up is Postal. This one's by Brian Hill, Matt Hawkins, Isaac Goodhart, and Betsy Guonia. Sorry if I butchered your name. I'm sure I did. This is a really fun and interesting book. I picked this up years and years ago, and I kind of had it on the back burner. I read it once years and years ago, but I was like, I kind of have to think about it. But then I noticed that there was like a volume 2, volume 3. There's a lot in this. There's 7 volumes in the whole series. So Postal brings readers to a fictional town in Eden, Wyoming, a place founded by criminals for criminals, a place where, despite who lives there, no crime is allowed. The local postman, Mark, the son to the mayor, has Asperger's, or Autism 1, and through his particular eye, he sees the town struggling to keep its fragile peace, a town on the constant brink of chaos. I really enjoyed reading this. I don't know if just because I've been cooped up and I'm enjoying everything that I pick up and read, but this one in particular I really liked. I read volume 2 and I read volume 3 on Hoopla. It's full of suspense, and it's not only criminals like second chance, it's their only chance. And the you'll see, like, in all the volumes, like all the characters that you meet, it has like their file that they have, so what they did and what they've been doing in the town and stuff like that. And really the only person that's not without fault or flaw is the postman, Mark, who's the son of the mayor. And he has Autism 1, and he's kind of a badass, and he's written really well. Brian Hill, which if you guys watch our channel, I did American Carnage. He's such a great writer. I mean, it's written like a movie script. I loved it. The characters are all really well developed, and they're all very different. I mean, just having the postman having Asperger's, and the way that it's written just so flawlessly, and not making him look or sound like he has a flaw. It's just done really, really well. Bravo, I love it. It journeys into strange darkness of human nature, making one thing clear: every paradise comes at a price. So even though this is a really good gig, if you're a criminal and nowhere else will accept you, or you're about to go to jail, this place isn't going to be easy on you. So it's full of surprises. I would say definitely pick it up. There's 7 volumes, and don't quote me, never quote me on this, but I think it's still ongoing. So this is my other pick. This was really good, and the art's really cool, and it's brutal, but it's definitely worth it for sure. So my last pick is one of my favorites. I've read this, I think now it's 3 times that I've read this, but it's You Have Killed Me. And this is probably like the lesser known book by Joelle Jones and Jamie S. Rich. They're the creators of Lady Killers, and Joelle Jones does Catwoman. This is so good. It's a noir, and it's all the art's all black and white, and it really does make you feel like you're watching Turner Classic Movies. It's really good. And I reread it again because the ending is really good, and of course I'm not going to tell you guys because I want you guys to go out and read it, but how it starts is amazing. It says the story starts just like any other, with a girl. Dun 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 dun. So right off the bat, it's really good. So let me tell you what it's about. Antonio Mercer is a private eye by trade. A man bad luck seems to follow, as by his newest client, a sister of his former lover, Julia, who's now disappeared, and Julia's sister Jessica is a real piece of work as well. Still, Mercer takes the case, getting entangled in the same family drama that drove him away. As the bodies start to pile up, Mercer has no choice but to see the case through to its end before he becomes a casualty. So it really reminds me, if you guys are fans of older movies, of The Big Sleep. It reminds me a lot of The Big Sleep, that Humphrey Bogart and Lauren Bacall, one of their many movies that they did together. It's written like a classic noir. It's wonderfully written. It definitely will keep you guessing until the end. And like I said, I've read it, this would make it the third time that I've read it, just because the end is the twist. You don't really see it coming, and you kind of have to read it again to get it. So I definitely recommend this one, and this is just a one shot, and I hope that they do more, because they're a great team, and they can really write a really good noir. So those are my picks. I'm really looking forward to Doomsday Clock Part 2, and of course read Watchmen, because everybody should, and I hope everybody's doing well, and we'll see you next time.